The theater was quiet long before the lights dimmed. It was the kind of quiet that felt heavy, like the air itself was holding its breath. People sat in their seats, shifting slowly, whispering softly, the sound of fabric brushing against fabric moving through the room like distant waves. The stage stood empty, glowing faintly under soft blue lights. At the judges' table, Simon Cowell rested his hands together, his face calm but unreadable, his eyes watching everything and nothing at the same time. Backstage, Daniel Harper stood alone. He was 23 years old, tall but slightly hunched, as if he had learned over time to make himself smaller. His hands trembled, not from fear exactly, but from memory. The walls around him were painted black, meant to hide nerves, but they could not hide thoughts. He took a slow breath and let it out through his mouth, just like his mother had taught him when he was a child. "Slow," she would say. "If you rush your breath, you rush your heart." Daniel closed his eyes and tried to hear her voice clearly. It had been 3 years since she passed away, but some days it still felt like she was just in the next room. He pressed his fingers together and felt the small silver ring on his thumb. It had belonged to her. It was the only thing of value she ever owned, and she had given it to him on her last night in the hospital. "You don't have to be loud to be heard," she had whispered. Those words stayed with him now as the stage manager gave him a gentle nod. It was time. Daniel walked forward, each step slow and careful. The lights shifted. The curtain moved. The audience came into view like a sea of faces, all watching, all waiting. His heart beat harder, but he did not stop. He stepped onto the stage and stood under the bright white light. The applause was polite, uncertain. He understood that sound. It was the sound of people who did not know what to expect. Simon Cowell looked at him closely. Not unkindly, but directly. "What's your name?" Simon asked. "Daniel Harper," Daniel said. His voice was quiet, but steady. "And where are you from?" "Daniel. Ohio. A small town near Dayton." Simon nodded. "And what brings you here today?" Daniel paused. This was always the hardest question. Not because he did not know the answer, but because the answer carried weight. "I'm here because I sing. And because my mom used to watch this show with me every week." The room softened. Not louder, not quieter, but warmer. Simon leaned back slightly. "All right, whenever you're ready." The music did not start right away. Daniel stood still. He felt the floor beneath his shoes. He felt the light on his face. He felt the silence stretching. Then, gently, the first note played. It was simple, a single piano note, soft and slow, like the beginning of a memory. Daniel opened his mouth and sang. His voice was not big. It did not rush forward. It moved carefully, like someone walking through an old house, touching familiar walls. The sound carried something fragile, something honest. It filled the space without trying to impress it. In the audience, a woman near the aisle wiped her eyes, surprised at herself. She did not yet know why she was emotional. She only knew she felt something. At the judges' table, Simon listened. He had heard thousands of voices. Loud ones, powerful ones, perfect ones. But this voice did not ask for attention. It invited it. 20 seconds passed. Daniel reached the first emotional turn in the song. His voice lifted slightly, not in volume, but in feeling. The lyrics spoke of waiting, of standing still while life moved past, of loving someone who could not stay. At exactly 22 seconds, Simon Cowell covered his eyes. It was not dramatic. It was not planned. It was instinct. For a moment, Simon saw something else entirely. He saw hospital hallways. He saw long nights. He saw people he had lost, moments he never said out loud. The voice on stage had reached a place inside him that he did not visit often. The audience noticed. Whispers moved through the room. Cameras shifted. Daniel did not see any of it. His eyes were closed now. He was singing for one person only. For a woman who used to sit on an old couch with a blanket over her legs, humming along with him. The song continued, slow and steady. No sudden changes, no tricks, just truth. Daniel's childhood came back to him as he sang. He remembered the small kitchen where his mother worked double shifts and still found time to listen to him practice. He remembered singing into a wooden spoon while she washed dishes. He remembered the nights when the electricity went out and they lit candles and sang softly together. Life had not been easy. After his father left, money became a constant worry. Daniel learned early how to be quiet, how to stay out of the way. Music became the one place where he did not have to disappear. But after his mother got sick, even music felt heavy. For months after she passed, Daniel did not sing at all. Every note felt like a reminder of what was gone. He worked a warehouse job. He kept his head down. He told himself that dreams were for other people. Until one night, he found the ring again at the bottom of a drawer. That was the night he sang again. On stage now, his voice cracked slightly. Just for a moment, he did not hide it. He let it be part of the sound. The audience leaned in, not wanting to miss a breath. Simon lowered his hand but did not open his eyes yet. His jaw tightened. He took a slow breath. The song reached its gentle peak. Not loud, not high, just full. And then it ended. There was silence. Not the awkward kind, the deep kind, the kind that feels like respect. Daniel opened his eyes. For a moment, he thought something had gone wrong. Then the applause began, slowly at first, then louder. People stood, some clapped, some cried, some simply held their hands together, unsure how to react to what they had just felt. Daniel's chest tightened. He bowed his head slightly, overwhelmed. Simon opened his eyes. He did not speak right away. He looked at Daniel, really looked at him. Then he glanced at the judges beside him, then at the audience, then back at the young man on stage. You know, Simon said slowly, we hear a lot of voices. But we don't always hear truth. Daniel swallowed. That, Simon continued, was truth. Daniel nodded, unable to speak. Simon's hand hovered over the golden buzzer. The room seemed to hold its breath again. I don't know if you realize what you just did, Simon said quietly. But you reminded people why music matters. Then he pressed the button. Gold exploded into the air. The sound was thunderous. The lights flashed. Confetti rained down like sunlight made solid. The audience erupted. Cheers filled the space, loud and joyful and alive. Daniel stood frozen, his mouth open, his hands shaking. He looked up as golden pieces fell around him, sticking to his hair, his jacket, his shoulders. He laughed once, a soft sound of disbelief. Simon stood up. He clapped slowly, deliberately. Daniel's knees nearly gave out. He dropped to the stage floor, overwhelmed, tears finally breaking free. He pressed his hand to his chest and breathed, slow and deep, just like his mother had taught him. Backstage, crew members wiped their eyes. In the audience, strangers hugged each other. Later, after the lights dimmed and the noise softened, Daniel stood alone again, but this time it felt different. He held the silver ring tightly and looked up at the ceiling. I did it, he whispered. Not to the room, not to the cameras, but to her. The road ahead would not be easy. He knew that. Success never erased pain, but it could honor it. As he walked off the stage, gold still clinging to his clothes, Daniel felt something new settle in his chest. Not pride, peace. And somewhere, in the quiet space between memory and music, a voice hummed along.